but now you have a new best friend.
The many flavors of Lay's chips. One taste and you're in love.
Hey guys, how's it going on? I've been making this commercial in the last couple of days and thought it would be useful to record a tutorial on the transition effect between my product and ingredients. As a result, this is what we're gonna learn in this tutorial. But before we get started, I wanna let you know that you can download the final project file of this tutorial and all of the other tutorials on my Patreon. Let's get started. First, let's see what I have. I have this chips pocket and I've got these chips. I also have a border, and I want to say, as I move this border in the x-axis, I want my chips pocket to fade out and I want the chips to fade in. And I want to apply this effect on the materials, and I want to do everything in the shader editor. So I right click here, I choose vertical split, and I click here to separate my workspaces. Then I just change this one from 3D viewport to shader editor. I hit N to hide this menu, and here I select one of these chips and I can see its material. And because all of these have the same material, I can just add my nodes here and it will apply its effect on all of them. Since we are in the material preview and it's Eevee, we need to do something to make our effect work in Eevee. Just go to the material properties, go down, go to the settings section and change the blend mode to alpha hashed. You can change the shadow mode to alpha hashed as well to work better with the effect. Then you need to do the same for the chips pocket. Just change the blend mode and shadow mode to alpha hashed. After all, let's create our transition. I select my chips pocket first, and in the shader editor I press Shift A to add a node. Then I search for a gradient texture and I add it here. And before you get to work with the nodes, you need to turn on the node wrangler add-on. So get to the edit menu, preferences, and add-on section, then search for node wrangler and enable it from here. And here in the shader editor you can now hold Ctrl Shift and click on this gradient texture to see a preview of that, and it's a feature of the node wrangler add-on. Then press Ctrl T to add these two nodes which are used for mapping, and I just connect this object to the vector. You can see the gradient texture works like this. So after that, after the gradient texture, I add a map range node to make it more contrasty. Now you can see if I decrease this from max value, it gets more like a straight perfect line and more contrasty. You can see this. I enter a number like 0.02 for this value, and after that I hold Ctrl Shift and I click on this principal VSCF to change my preview. Now if I connect this result of the map range to the alpha of the principal VSCF, you can see it hides the half of it. And it's because if you can see this alpha value, if I decrease it to 0, it disappears, and if I increase it back, it gradually appears. So how it works with the color? The answer is black color have a value of 0, and to prove it to you, I want to add a color ramp here. And then if I change this from linear to constant, you can see it's black, and therefore the black is 0 and it shows the value of 0 for the alpha value. And if I change this color ramp color to white, you can see it shows up. And because the half of our map range is black and the rest of that is white, the white area is 1 and the black area is 0, and it works like this. I can invert it by enter 0 here and enter 1 for the 2 mean value, and it inverts it like this. Then if I switch to map range, I want to show you something, and that is how we can change the color with this border. The answer is easy. I just go here on the texture coordinate node and I select this eyedropper, then I choose my border. Now if I move my border in the x-axis, you can do this by pressing G to move your border and X to move it in the x-axis. You can see it works like this and it's beautiful. Now if I switch back my preview to the principal VSCF, you can see as I move my border to the side, the chips bucket disappears. And you can move your border in a couple different ways. You can move it by pressing G and press X after that, or you can go to the object properties and change this location X value. The next step is apply the effect on chips material. So I just select my pocket, I go here, I select all of these, I press Ctrl C to copy them, I select my chips, I press Ctrl V here to paste them, and I just connect the result of the map range to the alpha. And I need to invert this map range, so I enter 0 for to min and I enter 1 for to max. And now if I just move this border, you can see it works and it's beautiful. It's really easy and cool and you can do a lot with it. You can also rotate your border like this, you can move it in the z-axis, and you can also add a empty object here and just hide your border, then select the empty as the object of the texture coordinate node, and you can play with it a lot. You can rotate it, move it, and have fun. And the difference between an empty object and that border which was mesh is the empty won't show itself in the final render. I created a scene before and I have a camera, so I go to the camera viewport, and to animate this border I can bring up this timeline and I go to the frame 1, I right click on the X value, X location value, and I insert a single keyframe. Then I go to the frame 30 and I decrease this X value like this, and I can insert a single keyframe again, and when I play this animation you can see it works like this. And I can even go to the graph editor and just make my animation looks smooth. If I hide my studio, you can see it works very good. And you can play a lot with this effect. You can make thousands of commercials, etc. And that's it guys, this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something new and you found this tutorial useful, and if it's true, please subscribe this channel and like this video so YouTube introduces it to more people. Thanks for watching and goodbye.